the word that comes to mind when I read this book is uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
Yes. He has us sitting in discomfort for a long time. So this book is set in Johannesburg, and it's like the grittiest, dirtiest parts of the city. So, and he's very tactile. So it's stinking of urine and, you know, stale, you know what I mean? So it's not like high life Joburg. Like, we're not reading about like Santon life and, you know, Four Ways life or whatever. We're in the thick of it. And it's dealing with issues of homelessness. We're in brothels a lot. You can tell it is written by a man. It's very masculine and that. Because a woman wouldn't spend like 4 pages describing like the brothel and, you know, the curve of the asses in the...
I think that was also one of the maybe the issues that I had with the 3-egg dilemma.
Yeah.
Because it's not that it's written by a man, but it's the male perspective, the male gaze.
Not that we have a problem with male perspective. It's just
which we've been accused of so many times.
It's just extremely male. Like, we're looking at a lot of body parts of women for a big part of this book. So at some points I'm like, okay, like
we get it.
But I mean, he's depicting what happens when a man falls into homelessness in Johannesburg. So he's sleeping in his car for a while, and then he's literally living in the streets. He's under a bridge. And his interaction with other homeless people, with immigrants who are, you know, hustling. His interaction with like the law, with robbers, with, you know, it's all the dirty parts of Joburg brought up to the surface, and you sit in it the whole time. I read something about the author. He's written a lot of books apparently, like 11 or something.
Yes.
But
Joburg is his I think his locum, I guess is the term.
And he works hard to bring Joburg to life. But he's fought really hard, he says in one of his interviews, to be considered as a literary writer.
Interesting.
Because of the type of writing, right? Like, it almost feels tabloidy, because it's like,
all right,
it's about, you know, this relationship, and then this girl cheated and she did this and she did, you know what I mean? Like, whereas people like to think of like the Achebes and, you know, as that kind of high literature.
But is this not an issue that we see in African literature?
It is.
So-called, and just to say, not everyone likes the term African literature, but I guess literature from the continent.
Yeah, it is. If it was a woman, we'd call it like chicklet. Do you know what I mean? Like, it reminds me of Sunyati, where it's like, it's just people walking, their interactions, you know what I mean? Like, there may not be some deeper meaning behind the words except for what he said.
Yes.
I stepped into a pile of shit. Like, that's just what happened, right? So you're not sitting there like pulling apart sentence structure and, you know, this meaning, you know, is carried on there. It's just, it is what it is. He describes, he puts you in there, and you just have to sit in it. Like I said, it's very male, which made me a little bit uncomfortable, but not in a bad way, just not in a, I don't pick up this kind of lit way.
It's a deliberate choice?
I do, because he does deal with things about like depression amongst men. Our character gets suicidal at some point. So he is like talking about male mental health, which can often be overlooked, especially in our cultures where it's like the man must provide, the man must be strong, the man must just power through. So he certainly, like, we watch a man go through a bad breakup and you watch him like sit and cry, sit and like fall apart because of a breakup. And you typically hear these stories from the women's perspective. So I do think it was deliberate. I think it's important. Would I sit in his world more? Unless book club makes me, probably not. But I do think from the male mental health perspective, I do think it's a good book. And this girl he breaks up with does the most. Like, it's
She's
shocking.
The girl about town.
Yeah, and I don't want to spoil it, but she really screws him over. And that's with the book, and you just see his spiral downward. But yeah,
so in many ways, a Joburg story.
It is a Joburg story. It's a dirty Joburg story. I'm going to sit at 2 for me, 2.5. And I think that's personal. Right. Maybe 3. I don't know. Okay. Yeah.
Would you, hey, you've mentioned Sunyati.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're watching this, can you let us know some of the other books that are based in Joburg that we should be looking out for?
And even when we've read Sunyati, right, we have so many types of readers, and there's people who appreciate this kind of writing. Music, and I think it's important to have it for people who don't want to sit and dissect literature for 30 minutes, but you want to read. It's still well written.
It's quite short as well.
Yeah, it reads easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. We always need those type of books.
I think so.
Yeah, so I'm excited to get to it.